This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Baruch Haba. We continue Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Lamed Gimel. We're in the end of Seif. Hey, the Mechaber says in Seif Hey, if the strap snapped, the strap of the Retzuah snapped, there are those who are matter to sew it on the interior of the strap. There's a Yesh Oimrim that what encircles the head and the arm to tie the tefillin, to stretch to the middle finger and wrap 3 times, there's no way to fix it, not to tie it and not to sew it. Anything in excess of that, in order to make the wrappings around the arm and the head, then the stitching and the tying do not pass on. So in other words, after that, you'll be allowed to fix it. And the Mechaber said, "B'shas hadchak yesh lismach al matirim kedei shelo yisbatem mitzvah." B'shas hadchak, you rely on the lenient opinion. We're up to Mishna Berura Sivkatan Chavtes Hamatirim. B'shas hadchak, you can rely on the lenient opinion. Hainu, that is the mutter afilu litbar begidim. You could sew with sinews, with the toich hashir within the shear, shemakif harosh, that encircles the head, v'hakibaris, and the bicep. So that's one opinion. That's opinion we're relying on the yesh matirim liftfar mitzad pnim. And outside of this shear, right? Because the second opinion is v'chutz shear is a mutar fil likshar. Outside of the shear, you could even make a knot. Certainly to sew with sinews. When you rely on any of these leniencies, why? You need to rely on the yesh. You need to be machmer like the yesham, the suffix tar l'chumra. Now the yesh oimrim says that what's makif the roish, or the kibares, you cannot sew. Outside of it, you could even make a knot. So what does the Mishna Berura mean? B'cholzeh. I mean, he's definitely talking about within the shear, you would not be able to make a bracha if you sew it. What about outside of the shear to make a knot? It sounds like you should also be machmer. But anyway, he says the suffix tar l'chumra ach kadei shleivata legamri es hamitzvah yanichem ad sheyimtzachem. You should put them on until you find others. The ayin betaz. Look in the Tasha Boisek. He passes the gamber Retzuah shel roish ein yachol avarach aleh. Even by the strap of the head, you can't make a bracha ad sheyiyah haretzuah shel yamin ad atabar, until the Retzuah on the right side is intact up to the navel. Usmal ad achaza. And the left side has to be shlema until the chest, belik shiro without tying or stitching. So in other words, not only are we machmer within the shear, but even the Retzuah that's hanging down, you need to be machmer that at the very least on the right side it goes up to the navel, and on the left side it goes up to the chest. Aval b'sefer el yaraba, chechriya lahalacha, the bein b'shal rosh, bein b'shal yad, levad ma sheyesh b'toich hashir shemakav harosh v'hakibaris, except for what is within the shear that encircles the head and the bicep, yachal l'toifroi af shaloi b'shas hadchak. You would be able to sew it, even not b'shas hadchak, ulevarech aleim, and to make a bracha on it. Ach sheizar litfar mitzad pnem. You should just be careful to sew it on the inside, so that the stitching is not recognizable on the outside. Because if it is recognizable, it's no better than tying. If it's recognizable, it's not better than tying. So you should be careful about that. V'gam shia begidin should be with sinews. Ava b'chutin, but with strings, or kshira asar, or tying, it's Asar Afilu B'Shal Rosh, B'Chein Pasak, B'Sefer Yeshuas Yaakov, V'Derech HaChaim. So one thing I'm not clear on is, why can't you make a knot outside of the shiur? This is because it's a Yesh Oimrim. Does somebody say, meaning it sounds like the Mishna Berura is saying you should be machmer on both shitais, namely, again, the Yesh, when the Mechaber concludes b'shas hadchak Yesh lismech al matira, and the Mishna Berura says you could sew the toich hashir. That's the first shita. And you could tie even out of the shiur. It seems to me that the Yesh Matirim who holds that Yesh Matir Litfar B'tzad Pnim would hold you're never allowed to make a knot. Therefore, the Mishna Berura holds anytime you make a knot, you can't make a bracha. Meaning you're only relying on a shita that you can make a knot out of the shiur, but the other shita holds making a knot even out of the shiur is never permitted. That's why the Mishna Berura here says that you should be careful that if you're sewing, it's not recognizable, because then it's no better than tying. Okay. Umi kamakan. Even though you're allowed to b'shatz hadchak sew, right? He says, the Mishna Berura just concluded, Yachal l'toifrei af shaloi b'shatz hadchak ulavarech. Mikamakam yachal lahasig Retzuah shlema. If you could get a whole Retzuah b'vadei nachal lahachman chadchila ka'ataz, you should definitely be machmer like the Taz. Right, because the Taz says that even by the Retzuah Shal Rosh, it has to at least go down to the tabor on the right side and the chaza on the left side. Many achronim follow the Taz. If you're in a pressing situation, you can rely on the above mentioned ga'inim, especially if the Shal Rosh, you have 2 tvachim that are hanging, tluyim, levad mashamakev harosh, besides what encircles the head, then bevada yishlis mechalakel. You could definitely rely to be lenient. The mahani tfira, that sewing will help. Va'ayin le'el b'simin chav zayin Mishna Berura sivkatan mamdalad. Im nifsika haretzuah berachva. Next case. What if the Retzuah now divided not in its lengthwise, but in its widthwise? Let me bring up a picture of this. Okay, so we have to get up some pictures today. Here we go. Okay, here. The Retzuah is snapped widthwise, and you don't have a shiur sa'ira. So the question is, in there the Pri Megadim is mesupik whether you could sew v'ayin le'el b'sim chav zayin sivkav nam beis masher kasa b'sham. Okay, so that is the suffix of the Pri Megadim. Thank you everybody for joining. B'ez Hashem, next Monday we will begin a new topic, Siman Lamed Daled, and everyone is cordially invited to join us. Have a great day and a wonderful Shabbos. Bracha v'hatzlacha. Kol tov, everyone. Kol tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.